I was sleeping one night and I woke up about 3 in the morning and I knew, I said, oh my gosh, he's in trouble. There's something going on. And I had no idea what this was. I didn't know this. I mean, it's huge feeling. Get up, go, go in the family room and start praying. And so I did. And I wasn't able to stop. Oh, please protect him. And all these things were happening.
Follow the compass home. Let the truth lead the way. You don't have to rush your knowing. It's been with you every day.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Inner Compass podcast. I'm your host, Bruce Barnes. This is a show where we talk with our guests about how they've listened to their inner compass and either sharing their stories of success or their lessons learned from ignoring the inner compass. So excited to have with me here for my guest today is Rose Blaum. She's an inside out coach, helping women who sense there's more to life to reconnect reconnect with their inner GPS. So it sounds very much like the inner compass. So it's a really good stories coming up here and stuff. So just curious, first, welcome to the podcast. And
Yeah.
just wondering, this is when did you first feel that quiet sense that was there, this is with your, as you put it, the inner GPS?
It's amazing that you asked me that question because I wrote that down today. I thought, when did I first feel it? And I thought, oh, I don't know. That goes way back. I was in just graduated from high school, and my boyfriend was called over to Vietnam in the Vietnam War. So that ages me, but that's okay. Um, and I remember I was sleeping one night and I woke up about 3 in the morning and I knew, I said, oh my gosh, he's in trouble. There's something going on. And I had no idea what this was. I didn't know this. I mean, it's huge feeling. Get up, go, go in the family room and start praying. And so I did. And I wasn't able to stop. Oh, please protect him. And all these things were happening. I went back and finally got to sleep hours later. And I got a letter, several, the slow chain letter from there. And it's about a couple weeks later that said that something happened. I said, anything happened around this date? And he had been in a situation where it was life or death, and he was going to eat a meal, and he didn't eat it, but his friend did, and his friend died, and he didn't
Oh,
eat it. And so I think, oh my gosh, I knew something bad was gonna, and I thought that gave me the creeps
wow.
because back then it was like woo woo. I didn't
Yeah.
understand. Nobody understood. It was like, okay, that's really weird. And then things would start happening in life, Bruce, all along my way that I just know there was an inner knowing.
Yeah.
And just has that happened to you too in life?
Oh, many times. At first, it just, I wasn't sure when I was growing up what it was and that, and this is and quite honestly, this is the when I was growing up, I'd always visualize myself doing something when I got older and that. And I just figured it's like any kid, they're daydreaming about what their life is going to be like. And
Yeah.
then as a teenager, I started having serious health challenges. And when I would try to imagine myself doing something past high school, all I got was like a black movie screen. I couldn't see
Mm.
myself past high school, which kind of freaked me out a little bit. And then, you know, got really sick and wound up, almost dying. And through several, in and out of the hospital half my sophomore year of high school and that. But then Yeah, this is just numerous major surgeries and that different voices, that I would hear and that, but after my first surgery, says I could then see myself in the future doing stuff.
Oh,
But it's just,
wow.
but I had many like what I refer to as deja vu moments where just before something happened, I saw vividly what that was. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, what? Yeah, as a kid, it's like, okay, what
Mm-hmm.
did I just experience? Stuff that was
Mm-hmm.
before woo woo became my second language.
Yeah. I know. And now it's accepted.
Hmm.
Intuition is something that is so used that it's just the Harvard has did a study on this, and they finally came to an agreement about 5 years ago, not that long ago, that intuition plays, if not equal to, a greater part in decision making for executive leadership than the whatever the stats are on the paper.
Yeah,
And that is pretty powerful. And you know, I'm sure some of your listeners, they wouldn't even be tuned in if they weren't interested in this, right? So but there are so many cool things to know because I like to balance the feeling, emotional side of it with the factual side.
yeah.
And what I have through all of my training and development and going through I have certifications in brain and mental health coaching. And I learned that when we are born as little babies, there are over 500 million neurons that live in our gut, in our intuition. And they thought until recently that they went away, kind of like you lose things as you get older,
Hmm.
but they don't. You can, they can reproduce, the cells can just keep going and going, and they get stronger if we practice it.
Yeah.
Haven't you noticed that,
Oh yeah. So
Bruce?
that's one of the things that I talk about and others have said too is like it's the intuition or the whispers that we hear, the guide, the guidance that's coming in. Says the more we listen to and take action, the strong, it's like a muscle, the stronger that will get and the louder that intuition voice will become. And yeah, it's definitely it is, when you're referring to the gut and stuff that really there's a lot of truth to that. Well, I just had a gut feeling about this. I mean, because that's, it's different people. It's like either whether it's a whisper, the feeling, they hear a voice, or just this knowingness of, okay, this is the direction I need to go, and that those are the signs that people need to pay attention to. So how are you helping the women that you serve in that to kind of get in touch with their inner GPS?
Well, to go through some exercises to help them learn how to listen and not be afraid of that, and to not discount those feelings and say, well, that's all good, but I need to do this. Because in a nanosecond or blink of an eye, our brain takes over. And our brain, the logical part, wants to keep us safe. Oh, no, I don't think you should do that. And we have this little thing going on. Well, should I, shouldn't I? I don't know. And to discern how to know the difference between maybe fear, which it could be a safety zone, or is it really something that is purposefully taking us to the next step where we need to be? And you started laughing about that because
You'll
I want to hear it.
Well, it's just that it will come up as one of the questions at the end of my podcast, but it just really aligns with what you just said. So it's like, okay, It's a really good
There's,
connection here, but yeah,
yeah.
it's really uh, comes down to really because of the all the stress and high activity of everybody that everybody's doing, and that the noise can drown out that inner whisper, trying to guide us and that. So that's what I'm finding myself as well as with others, especially my kind of a common theme with my guests too, is like you really need to calm yourself
Mhm,
and listen and
mhm,
stuff. And that's when the voices, the intuition will make itself known. And so,
mhm,
but
mhm.
yeah, that's great. But yeah, so that's it. This is a good segue right into this. Is a when kind of wrapping up the episode, I like to ask all my guests the same questions regarding the inner compass. So the first question, just wondering, says, when your inner compass is speaking to you, what does it feel like or sound like to you?
Calmness. And it's not full it questions because I have a very logical side of me as well. I'll say, is this the right time for this? And if it feels good, if it feels safe, it's a safe feeling too. It um it's not something that I go to into blindly. I have a woman that has been after me for a realtor for 2 years since 2024, April 2024, after me about buying some land in Georgia, North Carolina, somewhere in the mountains. And I thought, oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. Not. I just knew, no, no, no. You know how you get all these emails and you, but she's kept up, and I saw it several weeks ago, and I said, "Oh, I'm supposed to go." It was just kind of an inner knowing, and I thought, I'm going to be open. I'm not going to lead by my emotions because it's not emotional. It's it's um it's like the second brain,
Hmm.
and that's so there's comfort and peace, and yet logically looking at does all the it's a piece of the puzzle that is so important to have to
Hmm.
me in life, so that we know, all right, this fits with this, this crosses this crosses that, this might be an obstacle. If it's meant to be, it's up to, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just, you said it a couple different times and stuff. This over my shoulder, the logical intuitive, that's me. And so I spent 37 years as a computer programmer, web
Mhm,
developer, which honed my
mhm.
logical thinking, and then
Sure.
my health journey heightened and almost dying several times, heightened my intuition. So I blend that balance of logic and intuition. So just like what you're describing there, he says you're using both of them to make these decisions and that. So it's not one or the other. It's a
Mhm,
blend, and so
mhm.
that's beautiful. So
It's like
now,
a balance. It's a balance and a teeter-totter,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Because if one is too much,
yeah,
then that's not good. Then the logic part, oh, that's too much.
yeah,
And it's not the analytics of the world, like your past, that's a tough place. It's a tough journey to get to.
yeah. It's like, well, it's just it's all about keeping an open mind and gathering all of the listening to all of the options and that, and
Hmm.
which the intuition is on your advisory board. You gotta listen to the intuition too.
Yeah.
So, but what earlier what you mentioned fear and stuff. So the second question is when you come up with facing a situation in that, how do you personally distinguish between the fear, the logic, and the intuition? This is that speaking to you in any situation in that. How do you distinguish those fear, logic, and intuition, and follow what your GPS is telling you.
That is that's another hour segment. However, in trying to wrap that up in just a few moments, I would say feel the fear and do it anyway, because fear is going to be there sometime.
Mhm.
We might have little doubts about it. When I knew I should lift up my roots and get move from Texas back to North Carolina to a thriving business that I had in Fort Worth, to a little town that had not even a red light, and I knew I was supposed to go. And yet I was a little afraid because, well, what if I can't uh, find a job? I'm in the middle of nowhere. So you say, okay, if this is meant to be, and it's a again, that inner comfort. If it's fear doesn't have to be something that we're afraid of unless we let it control us.
Right.
I think it's made to have its reins on. It's sometimes it's a good thing.
Mhm.
You know, um,
Yeah, fear is
my
trying to protect us from something.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And that's a good thing. It can keep us from that, but it also can keep us from listening to
Mhm.
it. And um I was researching recently, because intuition can be so developed, right?
Mhm.
And people say, well, how do you do it so easily? Well, it's because I've been practicing
Yeah.
it, right? And so, and then you practice, okay, I can do this. I'm a little afraid. Just being on a podcast is a little fear.
But yeah,
For
that's one of the things. I mean, it's like a muscle. You need to practice, paying
Yeah,
attention and following through on that. So
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So my
But I think the reason you and I are here is because we want to help people. We
mhm.
want to help show them that uh, life doesn't have to be so debilitating and small. To
Yeah.
to let it expand your mind, and
Yeah.
for and I we've been around the block several times.
Mhm.
And you, thank God, have a second life, it seems like, through everything that's gone.
I think I'm part cat. I got like 9 lives or whatever. But, but just to wrap up on the final question here, it's really for a future guest.
Mm,
What question related to the inner compass would you like a future guest to answer?
hmm. A lot of people are looking for purpose. And if you go with your heart, with what makes you happy, what gives you joy, you will find your purpose, I
Hmm.
think, in your life. And that's an intuitive muscle that you are growing and building every day.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep, absolutely. So yeah, so it, I know you mentioned that you have a gift for the listeners, and all the links, all of Rose's information and links to the gift will be in with the podcast information and that, so the listeners will be able to grab it easily there and just share a little bit about what your gift is.
Yes, I've got two PDFs that I think you'll really like. What I'd like for you to do is to take a look at them and print them, and ask yourself some reflective questions from this as you go on your day and your life. What is one thing that you can set down and not carry forward anymore? I mean, sometimes we carry so much baggage that we just need to release it because when we carry all that stuff, it's hard to hear. It's hard to hear
Mhm.
our gut and our
Yeah,
intuition.
yeah.
And
So,
so that's one thing. And there's several questions, several things in the PDF that I think you're really going to enjoy.
all right, fantastic. Thank you. And that so that loved having you here as my guest. Thank
I
you for
loved
being
it
here,
too.
and all the listeners. I just encourage you to keep paying attention to your and following your inner compass, and uh, come back for more episodes, and also have links on website for an online community to explore these things in more depth. So until next time, take care. Bye.
Bye.